Hey, Sneak Peekers! I'm Emily.
And I'm Lily.
Kicking off the semester, we've gathered a bereaved panel for the life and times of one of the most visionary writers, directors, and cherry pie enthusiasts, the late, great David Lynch.
After that, we'll be taking a brisk jog down memory lane and catching up with some of the cast, crew, and work that Sneak Peek has been able to put on the air for its 30-year run.
And to end off the night, we'll discuss this winter's hottest movies so that you can be prepared to have some water cooler chat come this Oscars week.
You won't want to miss this.
In recent news, the beloved theater chain here in Austin, Alamo Drafthouse, has laid off 9% of its workforce at the corporate level. This comes after the recent box office downturn as a result of COVID, strikes, and the public's overall decision to forego theatrical releases and wait for films to hit streaming platforms.
These layoffs have also affected the chain's 44 locations nationwide, with an unspecified number of recent hires at the theaters being let go as well.
As film enthusiasts, we can help support the theaters we love by simply watching more movies. So grab your friends and don't skip on the popcorn.
In other local news, the Harry Ransom Center here at UT has just received an exciting donation of a historic SNL collection from Lorne Michaels himself. He entrusted the center with his personal archive dating back to his earliest television sketches and all the way through SNL's decorated 50 years.
The collection includes behind-the-scenes notes from some of SNL's most memorable skits and annotated scripts that some of their most impressive alumni went on to write and direct. The exhibit will open this September and close in 2026, so make sure to add it to your calendar.
Looking at Hollywood, we're relieved to inform you that the majority of the LA fires are roughly 95% contained or have ended after this past weekend's much-needed rainfall. However, as the industry begins to pick back up, the questions of these disasters' impact remains.
Production costs in Los Angeles have already been growing, causing a lot of filming to take place in other states. These fires could make those costs even higher. As supplies in the area are being rerouted to the rebuilding of homes and businesses, the materials needed for set building could become much more expensive.
While this may sound frightening, we shouldn't worry too much. Executives have stated that these costs are not high enough to raise the bar for filming in LA. The industry is here to stay, and with time it should grow stronger.
In other news, President Trump has named Mel Gibson, Jon Voight, and Sylvester Stallone as ambassadors to a troubled Hollywood. They will be his eyes and ears in the industry, and he'll take their advice to help build it, quote, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
That should be evident by Mel Gibson's new film, Flight Risk, which is currently sitting at a 25% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an underperformance at the box office of only $12 million opening weekend.
Moving from one tragedy to the next, we want to finish this update with a very sad goodbye to a true visionary, David Lynch. Born in 1946, David spent a life creating surrealist worlds and telling stories in an innovative way. He was one of his generation's greatest directors, and we can thank him for his many amazing projects like the 1984 Dune, Mulholland Drive, and my favorite, Twin Peaks.
In memoriam for his incredible career in film, our recommendation for this week is Blue Velvet, a fan favorite of his. We've actually managed to herd a handful of those fans out of their comfort Twin Peaks rewatches and onto the set to eulogize one of the most singular voices in cinema.
Take it away.
Hey, Sneak Peekers. It is unfortunate that we have to open the first episode of our new season with such unfortunate news. But as we found out a couple weeks ago from David Lynch's family in a Facebook post, he sadly died on January 16th, 2025 at the age of 78 after he was moved from his home in the midst of the LA fires. And so on the show, we kind of wanted to take a bit of an opportunity to reflect on the magnificent life and career of Lynch. And as you can see in front of us, we have sort of a little monument to all of his works. But yeah, I guess we're just kind of going to be talking about some of our favorites of his and why we think that y'all out there should go ahead and check out his works if you haven't already. But yeah. I guess starting off, we can talk about Eraserhead, which was Lynch's first feature film.
Yep.
Do you have anything you want to add on Eraserhead?
I mean, and anything I say about Eraserhead has already been said. Like, it's one of the original, like, midnight movies. Again, Lynch's first, and it's just a cornerstone of American film. It's, it's a nightmare, and like, what's the runtime on that again?
It's
like
less than 90 minutes. It's 89 minutes. Yeah.
89 minutes. It's a straight up nightmare, and I love the Eraserhead baby. I want a plushie.
Yeah.
Of that child. But yeah, in any case, I don't know. It's just such a religious experience. I hate to put it like that, but yeah.
No, I agree, and I think what I love about Eraserhead, and that I hope audiences will take away if you haven't seen Eraserhead, is I think it was one of the first movies I ever saw where I was just sitting there and I was like, I get that the plot doesn't matter here. It's entirely about like the feeling that it's evoking, and it's miserable, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
So definitely check out Eraserhead. But if kind of tracking through Lynch's career, our next major work would be The Elephant Man, which was a major studio deal that Lynch did with Mel Brooks after Eraserhead. And honestly, in retrospect, it's kind of miraculous that anyone would take such a crazy gamble on the guy that did Eraserhead.
But it had to be.
It had to be
Brooks.
him.
Yeah. No, but have you? I've watched this today just to gear myself up for this, and it's Lynch doing narrative. Like straight narrative. I mean, Eraserhead again is just the feeling it evokes in you, but Elephant Man really has some of the visuals of Eraserhead, but it just gets you in the feels. I don't know if it's because he recently passed away or because the movie is genuinely like hard to watch in like an emotionally impactful way, but I don't know. It's the closest I've been to like crying at a Lynch.
And I think on that point too, not to immediately jump ahead, but I like what you said about like the narrative too with the feeling. I think one thing that Lynch does so well throughout his movies and that I love is that marriage of like deeply, emotional or evocative imagery that makes no sense and you just have to feel it through, and then really compelling, dramas. And I think that kind of brings us to Blue Velvet, which is really like the culmination of his career until that point. And I think personally is the best Lynch movie to start with if anyone out there hasn't seen any of his works. It's like probably the perfect blend of like his brand of drama mixed with like that freaky surrealism.
Yeah. It's Lynch attacking suburbia.
Yeah, for sure.
It's again that 80s feeling of like Reagan's in office. Let's talk about Reagan, but not talk about Reagan at the same time. And it's again, you see Dennis Hopper just like go like is high all the time, and it's just this rage monster, and it's really again like hard to watch. Again, you see like how Isabella Rossellini just like meanders around that movie. It's hard to watch again, but Roger Ebert like nailed that movie for again the depiction of violence, but at the same time it is just it's sad to say, but it's like a run of cornerstone films that you get to get around to watching. Yeah.
And on that note of Lynch attacking suburbia, I think that kind of brings us to the next big, really I think the pinnacle of Lynch's career, which is obviously Twin Peaks. For those of you who are not aware, Twin Peaks was a it was a drama that aired on ABC in the 90s, and it ran for 2 seasons on network television before it was later picked up for a 3rd season in 2017 by Showtime. I personally have not seen the 2017 season, but the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks are like my all-time favorite television. There is just going back to like that narrative and the drama. I've never seen another work like that where it just feels so emotional constantly, but it is so violent in a way that is just deeply evocative and deeply like hard to sit through. But I think what is so great about Lynch is like it doesn't feel too despairing throughout.
No. I mean, maybe Fire Walk with Me.
Yeah.
But that's naturally. But again, if you want to talk like main David Lynch, I think it's Twin Peaks. Like just as a whole body of work, as a text in and of its own, I think Twin Peaks is just Lynch encapsulated. And
that is all the time that we have. But yes, leaving on the note of Twin Peaks, please watch Twin Peaks if you haven't seen it, and check out all of Lynch's other amazing works. That's all from us, and we're going to pass it to a commercial, but please join us after the ad break.
Hey!
Hey, sneak peekers.
We're so back, and today we're going to be talking about the Christmas break movies that we watched, because a lot of movies came out.
some really good ones, some maybe not so good ones. And we're gonna rank them best to worst and worst to best. They do not have to be the same. All right, what movies are you thinking of?
We're talking best to worst or worst to best first.
What's your best first?
My best. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. And I want y'all to sit with me while I say this. Baby girl.
I don't know if I should sit
Wow.
with you on that
Oh,
one.
that's a take.
Listen.
I don't know if I want.
It might have been the theatrical experience I had. All right, because picture it, 3 p.m. matinee with a bunch of
Okay.
tipsy people.
Now, see, I do have to confirm and corroborate here because I also saw Baby Girl at a 2 p.m. matinee, and I had a little mimosa to go with it, and it was a
Okay.
very wonderful
And maybe I needed
theatrical
a
experience. So
mimosa.
maybe
I saw it at 10 p.m.
I also saw it late at night,
What do y'all do?
and my theater was laughing out loud, guys. Like, not
I
in a
was
good
laughing
way.
out loud.
Like, we
Yeah.
were snickering, we were cringing. If we're gonna rank this, I already know where I'm putting it.
but I ask you, Anna, think about
Go
this. If this is, we're talking about the same director as Bodies, Bodies, Bodies here. Do you think that some of the humor is intentional?
I was gonna say I don't like bodies that are size.
Okay. That is it. That's a take.
Gas
That's a
heard
take.
around the
Actual
studio.
gas.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what? Now that you mentioned that, Bodies, 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 and Baby Girl both kind of like really annoyed me.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
So-
It wasn't giving it. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe it was intentional. But it was funny. It was like, I'm like laughing at you, honey. I'm not
Yeah, not
laughing with
with
you.
And so was I. That's why I love it.
Okay, yeah.
Was it
I guess
supposed to
for
be a
that
comedy?
It had to have been.
No.
My thing. Okay. Oh, what did you just say? Say it again.
It had to have been. But then again, I'm also the same guy that loves Megalopolis. So we're on
This
that
is
track.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
we're operating on different.
All right, all right. Because my thing is, I feel like we could have, like, Baby Girl could have worked if, what's his name? Samuel Harris Dickinson's
yeah.
character, if he was charming, but he was weird.
He was
Yeah,
weird.
it's
So I'm
kinda
like, I
was a
couldn't
little-
even understand you, my girl Nicole. Anyways.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Yes, Anna.
let's go to the next best.
Okay, my pick. Sneakily, A Complete Unknown.
Hey.
I did not want to watch it. It was like the only thing that was in the theater. I was going with a friend of mine, and we were like, okay, we both don't want to watch it. It was really good. It was the best, I think, out of the trio of Nosferatu, Baby Girl, and A Complete Unknown.
I like that.
Maybe I just like Timothy Chalamet.
No, I love.
though.
Honestly, I was worried about Timothy as Bob Dylan because I'm like, every time I see Timothy on the screen, I'm like, that's Timothy, not the character. But even though I did see Timothy, I'm like, he made a great Bob Dylan. Like, I really did
he
enjoy it.
was gross and grimy enough to play
Yeah,
Bob
his
Dylan.
nails, insane.
Oh yeah, gross.
Thoughts?
I haven't seen A Complete Unknown, but
Okay,
Shame.
so
I will throw my quick honorary pick is Nickel Boys, but I don't think that came out in the winter, so I won't count
Okay.
it. Although everyone, please go see Nickel Boys. It needs as many audience members as possible. But my pick would probably be Nosferatu.
Oh,
I know. Dan over here is
No.
I
already-
love Nosferatu. You're a bunch of
already
haters.
cursing.
I am a hater. Have you
Oh.
seen the original?
I actually have
No,
not.
girl,
And I
it's silent.
know-
What am I gonna watch?
No, listen.
You know what? I hate to be that girl, but
And that's fair. And I have no doubt that if I were to watch the original Nosferatu,
Yeah.
like it would blow it out of the water for me. But I like Eggers. I like his thing.
Yeah.
I like.
But didn't you think it was too much?
I did not.
I didn't. I
no.
really didn't.
Really?
I don't
Every
know.
scene,
I-
someone's eyes roll back.
Hey, I didn't mind.
he's coming.
Hey, it gave what Baby Girl was supposed to give, and it didn't give.
I think.
Okay, baby, Nosferatu made me feel how Baby Girl should have made me feel, and it didn't.
Ew.
So.
Now let's unpack that.
No, let's not. All right, so that's a thing for another panel. All right, so let's rank them best to worst. I already have my ranking.
I have my ranking.
Okay.
And somehow their Baby Girl's at the bottom of all of them.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well, and I'm curious. Do you have one that you wanna?
Well, mine was gonna be Nosferatu. You kind of stole it, but
okay,
that's okay.
well.
That's why I'm just hosting. I'm just ranking them. I think Nosferatu is number one. Cause that was like a movie, you know, like that was a movie.
Wow.
And then like a complete unknown, I left the theater. I was like, that was a movie. Like I really liked it, but I do love like how in my face Nosferatu was. Because like some of my favorite movies are like challengers, and like obviously like that's so in your face. So I'm like Nosferatu is like right down my alley. Also, everybody's performance was amazing, and so was A Complete Unknown. But like when it comes to entertainment, I was so entertained for Nosferatu. And then for Complete Unknown, I really, really loved it as well. Baby Girl, I kind of already said my thoughts, but that's the ranking that we have going on. And for worst, just name the worst film that you saw over the break.
Nosferatu.
Oh, wow, gagged. Okay.
I said it didn't have to be the same one, but it's okay.
No, Nosferatu worst.
Okay, worst.
Carry on.
I agree.
And I'll leave it. I didn't love Wicked. It was fine. I liked it. It just wasn't my favorite.
And
but
with
that's
that,
enough.
we're gonna go to commercial break.
Hey Lily, have you ever wondered what it was like before we got here?
Oh, that question keeps me up at night. At one point, the Earth was just this giant wet ball of dirt floating out in space, and then we just spawned out of the primordial ooze.
No, silly. I mean, have you ever wondered what sneak peek was like before we got here?
Oh.
Roll the clip.
Hey, sneak peekers.
Hey, sneak peekers.
Hey, sneak peekers.
Tonight on Sneak Peek,
This week in entertainment,
I'm on the streets talking about the Emmys.
South by Southwest 2015. Having a blast. What are we doing?
while we review, we are going to be painting portraits of each other.
sneak peek, entertainment the way you want it.
Hi, and welcome to Sneak Peek. This is the pilot episode of TSTV's movie review show.
In 1994, University of Texas undergraduate Bernie Burns founded Sneak Peek, an entertainment news and review show on KVR-TV, one of the nation's only FCC-licensed student-run broadcast stations. Now, 30 years later, Sneak Peek is the longest-running student show in the country. As one of the series' current executive producers, celebrating our 30th anniversary got me thinking. How did Sneak Peek get started? How has it changed over the years? What stayed the same? And finally, how have former Sneak Peekers been impacted by their time on the show? A former producer from the class of 1998 says it was like a dream despite the dust.
I thought we were going to a TV station.
Chris Dutton produces marketing materials like commercials, promos, and sizzle reels for his local station in Phoenix, Arizona.
We get down there, it's all dark. There's a 1-inch tape machine and it's humongous and it's collecting dust.
Sneak Peek was born in the basement of Hogg Memorial Auditorium as the first show under KVR-TV, now called Texas Student Television. Students recorded and edited videos on old VHS tapes, physically cutting and burning tape together to make episodes. The station ran on an unused university broadcast channel after the city of Austin denied TSTV a channel of its own.
And it was like a dream. I was really happy to be there, despite the mess and the circumstances and the weird basement that we were at.
Now, Texas Student Television operates here, on the 4th floor of the Hearst Student Media Building, with its own channel, 32.1, and over 20 student-run productions.
It was kind of everything I was looking for at UT.
Dano Johnson, a producer from the class of 2001, says Sneak Peek was simple back then.
To learn about movies, you would turn on the TV.
This is Entertainment Tonight for Thursday, September 26th, 1996.
You know, there was some internet movie review sites that were, started up in the late 90s, but for us, it was like watching Siskel and Ebert and watching Entertainment Tonight. And it's such an easy model. You go out, you see a movie, you come back and you talk about it. The same thing that everybody does with their friends.
Kelly Williams, who graduated in 1998 and produced Sneak Peek with Chris, told us how the show's style developed from the earliest reviews.
When we took it over, I think almost the entire show was done in studio. So what Chris and I wanted to do was take a little bit of it out of the studio.
Hey, welcome to another tireless episode of Sneak Peek. Hey, we're at the Wham Bam Newton Boys big world premiere thing at South by Southwest. We're waiting for the big superstars to come down that red carpet here. So stay tuned.
Nobody really came to us except for Matthew McConaughey, and he smelled of weed, whiskey, and just charisma.
Hey, we're with UT, man. And yeah, you got any advice for your success? UT success story. You got any advice for us lowly students?
And Matthew looked at us, looked me right in the eye, looked at Kelly, and said,
"Yeah, man, just keep living. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Do it a day at a time with the big picture in mind. What a great town to be in, too, man.
I don't know what happened, but Matthew left, and Kelly and I both looked at each other, and we thought that was the greatest line we'd ever gotten in our lives, and that we will ever get, and it probably still is.
That became a little bit of a tradition, because I know a few people after me would do that too, where they ask them the exact same, do you have any advice for UT students?
Luck was on our side, because who showed up but Mr. Matthew McConaughey. Now, he has sort of a history with Sneak Peek. We've This is the third time we've interviewed him, and we always ask him the same question.
Hey Matthew, you have any advice for UT students? It's almost the year 2000. What do you have to say to all the future Texans?
Yeah. We were not news reporters or journalists. We were just kind of fans who happened to have a microphone.
Yeah.
You've been watching the football? How do you think they're doing? They've won.
Football team?
They've lost one. Yeah.
Football talk. We talked with Matthew about football.
It's been a few years since Sneak Peek last spoke to McConaughey, but going to local film festivals has stayed a tradition since. A lot has changed since the late 90s, though. The Austin film scene is bigger than ever before, and Sneak Peek has grown a lot too. Easy access to digital software and social media pushed Sneak Peek to become more professional over time. Now, we record episodes live, covering not just films, but TV and pop culture too. However, a lot has remained the same.
Anything you make, as terrible or slapdash it is, it's practice for what you want to do with your career. So if you're making 15-minute funny segments and you're making friends, you're making contacts, you're learning at least something from editing, that's the value of it.
As a student-run production with virtually no budget, Sneak Peek's internal culture has always consisted of scrappy, passionate creators eager to learn.
It taught me the value of really spending time on something that you enjoy, that you're actually earning a degree from, and you're putting it all together. And that kind of lesson I've taken with me throughout my whole career.
And even though the style, form, and subject matter have changed and expanded over the years, Sneak Peek has always been driven by students' love of entertainment.
TV is like also this place you can go where there's a lot less oversight and you can be experimental.
Todd currently lives in Los Angeles, where he works as a writer, director, and as he put it, sometimes actor.
Oh, hey. Hey, what's going on?
In the 30 years since Sneak Peek first aired, countless other students have contributed to the legacy of the show, each producer leaving their own mark.
Everybody was like adding little ingredients, and as over 30 years, it's morphed into what it is now because of all the people who came before it and threw in all of these little, ideas and segments and things.
Making sure that a legacy like Sneak Peek's continues can often feel challenging and even burdensome. It's easy to develop expectations for yourself and everyone who comes after.
You spend so much time working on a show, like you want to make sure that it keeps going, even if you're not there.
But speaking with Sneak Peek alumni helped put some of that pressure into perspective.
As long as it's fun and as long as the newer people are coming in and learning from the older people and, just keep doing what you're doing as long as everyone's having a good time.
There's no way to know how long Sneak Peek will eventually last, whether it'll survive another 30 years or only another 5. But the current Sneak Peek crew is committed to continuing the legacy of the students, creators, and film fans who came before us. And in the end, all that really matters is that we're having fun and learning while doing it.